We are all aware that Einstein was an exceptional genius. Einstein's brilliance is widely recognized because his discoveries in science completely changed how we understand the universe. He was even smarter than 1,000 scientists combined. He worked on things that most of us couldn't even think of or understand. As a physicist, he published groundbreaking theories such as special relativity and the famous equation, E=mc², and figured out the photoelectric laws. This surprised everyone, and he even won the Nobel Prize for it. Many people believe that Einstein had a brain that was very different from an ordinary person's due to his extraordinary thinking and intelligence. He was aware of this too, so he did not wish for his body to be subjected to research after his death, and he specifically requested to be cremated. Unfortunately, what Einstein was afraid of happened. On April 13, 1955, when Einstein died in Princeton Hospital, the doctor who performed the autopsy secretly took his brain. The doctor was curious to see what was inside the brain of this genius. The doctor who took Einstein's brain was named Dr. Thomas Harvey. He was more interested in studying the brain than worrying about the consequences. When the Princeton Hospital found out about what he did, they fired him. However, Dr. Harvey managed to convince Hans Albert to give him permission to research his father's brain and share the findings with the world. This marked the beginning of a long journey for the brain. Dr. Harvey was a specialist in studying bodies after death, but he believed he could research this brilliant man's brain. Unfortunately, he lost his job and title as a pathologist at Princeton Hospital. Dr. Harvey took Einstein's brain to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There, he took many pictures of the brain and cut it into 240 small pieces. He stored each piece in separate jars, and hid them in his basement. This caused arguments with his wife, who threatened to throw the brain away. Eventually, they divorced. Dr. Harvey then went to Wichita, Kansas, with the brain, and started working as a medical supervisor. In his free time, he tried to study Einstein's brain. Over the years, he changed jobs frequently, and moved to different cities, always carrying the brain with him. Unfortunately, Dr. Harvey couldn't conduct any significant research on Einstein's brain. In fact, his medical license was revoked, and he had to work in a plastics factory to make a living. He made a wise decision to send different parts of the brain to the best neurologists in the world for detailed research. And he did just that. After 30 years since the brain was first stolen in 1985, a study on Einstein's brain was finally published. Over the next 28 years, many neurologists conducted various studies on this brilliant man's brain. They discovered that Einstein's brain was quite different from an ordinary human brain. The most significant difference was found in a part called the corpus callosum. It's important to understand that the human brain is divided into two parts. Each part processes different tasks, and the brain sends signals to the corresponding parts of the body. The left brain controls the right side of the body, while the right brain controls the left side. For about 90% of humans, the left brain is responsible for tasks, such as speech, understanding, math calculations, and writing. On the other hand, the right brain is responsible for creativity, understanding shapes, art, and music. Now you might be wondering, what is the role of the corpus callosum? Imagine you're typing on a keyboard or a mobile phone, and both your hands are busy typing. The left hand is typing some letters, and the right hand is doing the same. While typing, your left hand makes a mistake, and you quickly use your right hand to correct it. This means that when your right brain makes a mistake, it signals the left brain to fix it. The connection between both halves of the brain is called the corpus callosum. Einstein had a larger corpus callosum than ordinary people, which means his left and right brain had a strong connection. This allowed him to imagine complex problems and situations. Apart from the difference in the corpus callosum, the pattern of Einstein's brain was also unique. Researchers believe this contributed to a good flow of neurons. Having a good flow of neurons means he had a great ability for mathematical calculations. Albert Einstein had the power to solve complex math problems in his head without using pen and paper. According to a research paper, another reason for his high number of neurons was that Einstein's brain weighed 1230 grams, while the average weight for a normal person's brain is 1,400 grams. Researchers believe that the lining of Einstein's brain was thinner, which allowed for more neurons. But the biggest question was whether Einstein was born with such a special brain, or if there were changes later on. After conducting research, it was discovered that Einstein didn't start speaking until he was 5 years old, whereas most children start speaking at around 2 or 3 years old. Even after he started speaking, he didn't like to talk much and would often get lost in his own thoughts. He had a weaker memory and found it challenging to memorize simple multiplication tables. Instead of relying on memorization, he excelled in processing math and numbers in a logical manner. In school, Einstein struggled in other subjects but stood out in mathematics and science. When he was 12 years old, a teacher left a geometry book at Einstein's house. Surprisingly, Einstein read the entire book in one day and grasped the concepts of geometry. By the age of 14, he had mastered integral and differential calculus. His understanding of math and science was so advanced that professors would get nervous when he raised his hand to ask a question. Often, Einstein's questions were difficult for even the teachers to comprehend. From a very young age, Einstein had a strong desire to express the laws of the universe in a simple equation. This became his life's mission. When he was 26 years old, Einstein published 4 research papers that amazed the world. As a result, he was awarded a PhD degree and the Nobel Prize for his remarkable contributions to humanity. Without Einstein's theses, science would be incomplete. Many doctors and scientists have come to the conclusion that Einstein's brain became special after his birth. The main reason for this was, when he couldn't find answers to his questions, he put in a lot of effort to find them using his own brain, which led to the development of his brain from a young age. Today, Einstein's brain is preserved with great care in microscopic slides at the Mutter Museum in America. Albert Einstein's brilliance went far beyond his amazing contributions to science. One of the things that set Einstein apart was his ability to think differently. He had a unique way of looking at the world, asking questions that no one else had thought of before. He had a knack for coming up with creative ideas and solutions to complex problems. Einstein's intelligence wasn't just limited to one subject. He had a deep understanding of physics, mathematics, and even philosophy. He could explain complicated theories and concepts in a way that anyone could understand, using simple language and relatable examples. One of Einstein's most famous discoveries was the theory of relativity. This theory changed the way we think about space, time, and gravity. He showed that the laws of physics are the same for everyone, no matter how fast they are moving, or where they are in the universe. This was a groundbreaking idea that challenged the existing beliefs over the time.